In India, kids can be used as a scapegoat for parents to release their emotional stress. She would choke me, she would slap me, and sometimes punch the side of my head with both her hands. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. But that was my way of coping with it, Yeah, I will ask for more. Let her hit me more. Let her take it out and let it be done with, right? Hi guys, my name is Shruti. Welcome to my channel Mantra and Maple Leaves. Today is another episode of my life story. In my previous life story series, I talked about domestic violence and sexual abuse faced by women in rural India. Today, I want to talk about more of my childhood traumas, but focusing mostly on parenting and disciplining kids. I'm a mother. I have a 3-year-old boy. I am raising him in Canada. And the Canadian law regarding physical punishment of kids is different than that of in India. In Canada, Section 43 of Criminal Code permits parents and guardians to use reasonable force to discipline the children according to the Library of Parliament. This includes spanking, but it must be reasonable and not cause harm or degrade the child. Reasonable force is defined as a force that is sober, that is, you need to be in a good state of mind, a normal state of mind. When you discipline your kid, you should be sober, that you should not be under influence of any substance. There should be a reason why you're disciplining your kid, and it should be intended to restrain, control, or express symbolic disapproval of your child's behavior. It is to show your child that you disapprove of the child's behavior. Also, sometimes it is to restrain or keep them safe. Okay. It must be transitory and trifling, meaning it shouldn't cause any lasting harm or be degrading to the kid. Spanking or slapping a child hard enough to leave a mark or bruise would not be considered reasonable. It should not leave a mark or it should not bruise the kid. Okay? Hitting a child on the head using any object or acting out of anger is also not regarded as reasonable. So if you're angry with your child with their behavior, and then if you spank them, that is also not considered reasonable. I follow this rule. I have spanked my son's bum a few times when I had to discipline him. However, never ever in anger or under the influence of any substance. I have also made it a point to tell him why I spanked him by explaining his bad behavior that he exhibited, and also say sorry to him for hurting him. I believe that it is necessary that the kid knows why there was a punishment, and also I want to know him why I had to do it. I have always used spanking when he has done something that might harm himself, like putting his hand inside electric socket or going to touch the furnace or something like that. After telling him continuously that it is dangerous and you shouldn't be doing that, and if he still does that, I have given him a spank. Or when he uses force on me, like when he bites me or when he like spanks me, or when he is, in a bad mood or hurts me some way, I react and I give him a little spank too. This was not the case for me when I was growing up though. In India, kids can be used as a scapegoat for parents to release their emotional stress. The most tragic part of this is that it is the mother who inflicts the most bodily harm than the fathers. My initial memory of my mother hitting me was when I was in kindergarten. In India, you call it LKG and UKG, that is lower kindergarten and upper kindergarten. There was a small wooden coffee table in my house. My mother would take it outside to the porch. She would make me sit there and do my schoolwork. The porch was open. My neighbors could see what was happening there. My mother would use a stick or a branch from a tree and hit me every time I made a mistake. I've always been a good student. I have always got good grades in school. But the reason for it was not that I was academically good. It was because I did good because of fear and shame. My cousins and neighbors used to make fun of me saying that poi talugolu, go get spanked. And it was like a code saying that, oh yeah, you have to go and do your schoolwork, because I used to get spanked every time I did my schoolwork. The coffee table doesn't exist now, but in my head, I can remember every stain, every mark on it. It remains in my memory as a symbol of my tragic childhood, my fears, and my embarrassments. A few months back, I tried to teach my son letters, and I acted just like my mother. When he did something wrong, I was like, "That's wrong. Do it again." And I was like really hard on him. It was the most traumatic experience for me because I realized how much I learned as a child and how much I have to unlearn to be a good mother to my child. In India, parents can use their kids to get rid of their emotional baggage, but seldom do they realize that they're just transferring their emotional baggage to your children. My mother never punished me when I did something wrong. She would wait for the day when my dad and my mom would have a problem. Then she would choose one bad thing I did that day. She would take me to her bedroom, which in my mind was a torture chamber. She would hit me for a month's wrongdoing, a month's worth of wrongdoing for about 20 to 60 minutes. She would recollect everything I did wrong and she would hit me for this time frame. She would hit me using my school belt, which had blunt metal ends that would bruise me. She would step on my toes and she would grind them. And mind you, my mom is 80 kilograms. My mom weighs 80 kilograms. So it wasn't fun. Okay, it used to really hurt. She would choke me, she would slap me, and sometimes punch the side of my head with both her hands. And when I'm down, she would kick me and she would pinch me. I remember going into a really bad state of mind after these beatings, where I would self-harm again, sit and write over and over in my books how much I hate her and my life. There was one night when I was beaten like really bad. I was up and in darkness, sitting in the darkness, I wrote in a 200-page book how much I hate her. It was like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And I wrote on a 200-page book fully. I wrote it like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I just feel, I also remember times when I was so helpless that when she would hit me, I would ask her for more. I never wanted it to stop. I would never beg to stop. I don't know, there was so much self-respect in me that I would never ask her to stop or please stop hitting me. I would just say that, go ahead, hit me again, you know? I don't know. I think I went to like a very bad state of mind that was the way I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. But that was my way of coping with it, you know? Yeah, I will ask for more. Let her hit me more. Let her take it out and let it be done with, right? The worst part is that what my mother was doing to me at my home was bad. But she would just go to my parents' teachers' meeting and she would tell the teachers that if she's bad, please feel free to hit her and make her behave. In my coming life stories, chapters, or episodes, I really want to talk about some of these teachers. Some of these teachers were really egoistic, and I think they really misuse their powers. And I do want to talk about that in my coming series. That would be another thing to talk about. Let's focus on this right now, right? Okay. My mom used to take me to my torture chamber once or twice a month. This only ended when I was 15 years old and I was able to react back. I remember one day my mom was very angry and was about to hit me. So what I did was I pushed her to the couch. I held both her hands together. I restrained her and I told her that if you hit me again, I will hit you back. And I'm pretty sure if she had hurt me that day, I would have physically harmed her. After hearing the story, what I'm expecting from you guys is not to feel sorry for me, but please reflect back on your childhood. And if you had any circumstances as I did, please note that you're not alone. You can get over these things and be better. if you have a child, it is more important to reflect back and unlearn, as you don't want to do the same things to your child. I grew up envying a lot of my friends who had like great parents. I'm not saying that my parents are bad, but they are the product of their upbringing and never changed or unlearned for the sake of their kids. When my mother came to know that I was struggling to raise Ari and have a career, my mom told me to send Ari to them. They said that they will raise him so that I can focus on my career. I refused this offer. To be honest, my will says that if something happens to me and my husband, Ari will go to my husband's parents. I would never send my son to the same place where an innocent, boisterous, power-packed girl was diminished to an anxious, self-loathing, self-harming person. Again, I know that this is not just my story. There are so many people out there who have similar stories. Recently in Kerala, a mom threw her 4-year-old girl child in a river and she drowned. I thought of this mother as an evil person first, but I don't know what that woman was facing at her home and what her mental state was to do such a heinous thing. I know that life is not black and white. I know that it is gray. That's why I have forgiven my parents. I understand more than they do how much they were molded into the people they are now because of their circumstances. All I can hope for them is to understand and unlearn as much as possible for the sake of their peace. And for me to be aware of my traumas and catch myself before I damage my son's future. Thank you for listening to my story. Please reach out to me if you have similar stories. We can work together to get over our past for a beautiful present and future. Thank you.